Hey everybody, and welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I am your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Hope everybody had an amazing trading day today as we finally got to see a little bit of volatility on a little bit of a pullback. So it was a fun trading day, hopefully, for you all. So let's go ahead and dive into it. For those of you new to the channel, welcome. Glad you're able to be here. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button so that you get a little bit of an alert every time that we send out a new video. So the S&P, we overnight had a fairly rough evening, but was able to recover later in the day. And we like to call this nicked by a tick, right? I mean, just barely missed entry on the S&P, did not quite reach it. For those of you that traded on an intraday level, we actually had a really nice little reversal right here off of this little area right through here. Hopefully some of you were able to catch that little reversal on an intraday trade. That was a pretty decent little setup earlier today. But for the bigger picture stuff, we came once again close. It's like, that concept always, what is it? Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. It seems like that's what this level feels like. Still a valid area, right? I'm still not going to take it off my charts. We're still going to leave it in place, but it's still not there. Now, the S&P did not meet entry, but the Nasdaq did. So hopefully many of you were able to catch on this little Nasdaq level that we talked about yesterday in our session. And got about a 45-point run as of now out of this Nasdaq area. So this one was just a good solid touch and go, a nice move out of the area. We're going to keep this area since we didn't trade into it very deeply, but we are going to change our properties a little bit. And instead of being a fully get in as soon as it touches area, we're going to make it a little bit more of wait for price to come into the level and then get long as it comes back out. So this area does still indeed exist. If you are of the mind, you may be able to get a small time frame short out of this little area that we're kind of approaching now. I am not of that ilk. Once again, as I like to say, don't tug on Superman's cape, don't spit on the wind, and don't short the all-time high. And that's kind of where we're pretty close to being in the Nasdaq. Crude oil. Crude oil popped. Once again, we're sitting right at about $63 a barrel. I was kind of hoping for a little bit deeper of a pullback and a better opportunity to get in. As it stands right now, we are actually setting up for another potential breakout to the upside. So those of you that, like I said a while ago, there is really no overhead stopping us in crude oil. So if you want to look at a potential long breakout, you can possibly take that in crude and maybe allow that thing to continue to run. Gold, we did not quite come into our area as of yet. So those are our, kind of our four main markets. I want to look at some of our other markets as well, our bonds and our currency markets. So the bond market, those of you that were, let me know if you're still running in this bond short, as that trade is still continuing. Although we did get a pretty strong rally today, but that short is still moving. It hit our target and then some, as it continued to fall even lower than what our target was. So we do the happy dance on trades like that. That one moved nicely. The Aussie is still in between our areas. Not a whole lot happening in the Aussie right now. We had taken off that breakout. With the breakout long worked out for a pretty good little profit, but it's no longer valid. And so, as it stands right now in the Aussie, there's still probably some opportunity down in here. We're not down to that area yet, so we'll highlight that when it gets a bit closer. In the euro, so the euro trade, we had the euro level set up, and we had talked about the euro trade possibly becoming a candle-to-candle style of trade. It did not reach our area for the candle-to-candle style of entry, so I'm still not in that. Mode yet. And this huge wick that we have here on the daily chart up is actually more of a bearish signal anyway. So I would really need to be shown that that's going to work out effectively. Looking at it on the 1 hour time period, I think that we probably just set ourselves up for a decent short if we rally back up into this region up here. You might even find that on a smaller time frame, a better opportunity. Matter of fact, I'm going to highlight that. Remember that we use purple for our smaller time frame opportunities, and that's what I'll highlight with this one here. Because we cut down to the 15-minute chart, so we have to use the smaller time frame. Now, those smaller time frames mean that we've got a slightly lower degree of probability that this thing's going to work out. So make sure that you manage your risk accordingly. Canadian dollar came down today pretty hard. I think I'd heard somewhere that there was some political news that was kind of driving that. But by coming down fairly hard out of that, we did set up a nice little potential reversal kind of in the future. So keep that area in mind. Looking last and certainly not least at the Great British Pound and the Japanese Yen. Great British Pound, we're looking for a potential breakdown on this thing. Didn't get really a strong breakdown below as of yet. We did do a quick touch below here, so if you did get into it, I still think this is a valid breakdown. So if you did get into it and you got stopped out right away, there's still another bite at the apple in my mind for a breakdown out of this British pound. The Japanese yen level, that one failed miserably. Japanese yen level, we just blew right through it. There's really nothing good to say about that one other than ouch. But I'll take a day where I have where I've got a losing Japanese yen trade that's fairly small, and then a 40-point runner in the Nasdaq. I'll take those any day that I can get them. So that one did not work out, and so we'll look for other opportunities in the future on the Japanese yen. So with that being said, I know I'm a little bit short today. Apologize running a bit late. It's one of those days where you just not enough time in the day to get all the things done you need to get done. So I hope you enjoyed our session today. If you've got any questions, certainly feel free to reach out. Leave a comment in the chat box below. And until tomorrow, I will see you soon. Later.